Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Can everyone wave? Those that I can see in the camera, so I can see that you hear me. Hi, good morning. My name is Miss Jessica or Mrs. McLellan, Miss M, whatever you'd like to call me. I am a middle school math teacher here at PA Virtual, and today we're going to be tie-dyeing some shirts. So if you've ever tie-dyed before, if you've ever tie-dyed a shirt or shorts, a sweatshirt, anything, can you just tell me inside the chat? Because I do have my chat up here so I can see you. Has anyone ever done any type of tie-dye before? I see some yeses, some no's. All right, awesome. Now, if you have your materials, I know that there was a materials list sent out, I think yesterday. Does anyone have materials on them right now to tie-dye sort of while we do this? Or are you guys thinking that you're gonna do it later? Okay, awesome. So either way works, and you can come back to this recording too. Like Miss Val said, you can come. It's going to be recorded, so you can come back with everything that you need, and then sort of get a little refresher if you forget. So some of us now, some of us later. Awesome. So I see some have tie-dye kits, and I'm going to show you guys some things too that make it really easy. So I want to share with you first, I have 3 different types of sort of tie-dye kits here at home with me. So just kind of to give you guys some options. And most of these can be bought on Amazon, at Joann's, at Target, at Walmart, almost anywhere that you go. And I would bet that probably the dollar store has tie-dye kits too. So this is one type of tie-dye kit, and this is Tulip. Right? If you go to Joann's, you'll see a lot of stuff with the Tulip brand. And this kit is super easy. It comes with these bottles. And if you can see, there's already powder inside. So all you do is just fill this up to the black line with water, shake it up, and then you're ready to use these. So this is really, really cool, really, really easy. Another one is this one here. This is from Amazon. Doesn't really have a brand, I guess this solution here. There's a ton of these. It's very similar, but instead of the powder already being inside the bottles, they give you these little bags. Okay, so this says dark orange. This does not say dark orange, so I'm not going to put this inside here, but I'm going to find my dark orange bottle. Here we go. And what I would do is put some of this powder inside, and then I would add water and shake it up. Again, that's the same exact type of tie-dye that you have here, just a different, it's just sent to you differently. The other one that you might see in some stores is this SEI dye. This one isn't really my favorite. It doesn't give you tie-dye shirts like this. I will show you guys after a kind of a tie-dye shirt. We'll do one together and you'll see. But so this is a different type of dye. This is a spray. And this comes like this. It's a spray liquid, so you don't have to do any mixing. It's already mixed, but it just kind of looks a little bit different when you do. So those are 3 different types of tie-dye. Some of you might have some of them. If you don't have a tie-dye kit right now, it's okay. You can absolutely come back to this video after you get some things and then do them later. And then there's also like Rit Dye. There's different dyes that you can buy, and I know there's lots of videos that you can just do a quick look up on your computer. So that's okay if you don't have a white shirt today. You can always do it another time when you come back. And really, so the reason that we use white is because all of your colors are going to show. But if you have like a light blue or a yellow, something like that, you'll also be able to see it too. But you can always come back and do it another time. If you have a liquid type dye, so if you have a liquid type dye, that's going to be kind of more like this one, and all of these are going to become liquid. We're going to add water to these, and they're going to be liquid once we mix them up. But if you have like a Rit Dye, R-I-T is a brand of dye, there are some videos that show exactly how to use that. Today I'm going to show you like some different ways that you can kind of tie up your shirts to get different things on your shirt. But there's lots of different dyes out there. But a liquid dye, I would imagine, would work similarly. You could probably, you probably do want to have some type of little bottles like these, just because you want to put, you're not going to use your whole bottle of liquid dye that you get, I would believe. But I know that there are lots of videos on Rit Dye too. And I'm just going to put that in the chat here too. So this is a dye that I don't have, but Rit Dye is, oh, I think that just went privately to somebody, but I meant to send that to the group. Can I send a chat to the group? Everyone, there we go. So Rit Dye is a type of dye that you might see at any place that you can get crafts, but it's a little different than these ones. But again, I'm sure something that you can also use. Okay, so let's go ahead. We can get started. I'm going to start what I have here. so that you guys can see some different things. I have actually 3 shirts here. So I've got just a kid size shirt. I have a onesie. You can dye anything. I'm gonna give you one more little bit of advice here, sort of information. And then I have an adult shirt. So if you look at your shirts, right? So if I look at this shirt on the tag, you can maybe see there, it says 100% cotton. This is a great shirt to tie-dye. If I look, this one is also 100% cotton. And this one doesn't say, but I think, ooh, here we go, is probably cotton too. Yes, so these are all 100% cotton. These are really good for dyeing. If you have a shirt that says 100% polyester, it's not gonna dye for you. So you wanna put that somewhere else. Use that for something else. If it has 50% cotton, 50% polyester, that will work for you. You wanna try to have at least 40% cotton in your shirt in order to use most of these dyes. I know that some dyes will have like a specific dye for polyester shirts. That's just gonna be an extra step for you and something different to find. But these are all gonna work on something that has a good amount of cotton in them. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll start just with this shirt here. And I'm gonna start with the dyes that already have the powder in them. Okay, so you guys help me out here. I only have a few colors of this one. There seems to be kind of a lot of crossbreed. So you know what, I'll just use all 4 of these guys here. Okay, so I've got a blue, orange, yellow, and red. So all you're gonna do, if you have this type, now if you have this type where it doesn't come with the dye inside, you're gonna go ahead and you're just gonna choose your colors and sprinkle those inside of your bottle. And then you're gonna add water. So if we go ahead, I'm just gonna add some water here. Making a mess in my sink, but that's okay. Oh, before I forget, because I've dyed without gloves before, and that usually means that you're gonna have dye on your fingers for about 2 weeks. So let's get our gloves. If you don't have gloves, you want something that you can cover your hands with, because dye is not very forgiving on skin. And so you just don't, you know, unless you want to tie-dye your skin too, but I don't know how happy your parents will be with that. But I've already got glue on my hands. And of course, the gloves that come with tie-dye kits are always very kind of silly and big. So you could buy, you know, any gloves at the store that will keep your hands safe. But so I've got my gloves now, and now you'll see that this here, which is just powder, I put the water in, I shook it up, and then now I have this blue liquid here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this with a few more. What color is this? Can you guys see this? Make sure you're all here and wait. And sometimes your dye will look a little bit different in liquid form as it is on the top, but that's okay. Depending on how much water you use also, they're gonna get either a darker color or a lighter color. So for the first one, something that there's different things that you can do when you're tie-dyeing. You can tie up your garment, your shirt, your shorts, whatever you're using, different ways. And then also the number of colors that you use is going to make a big difference too, depending on if you're making it for like a school event or a baseball game, something to go with like sports teams. But depending on how many colors you use, it's also going to really change the look of what you're making. So how many colors do we want to use for this first shirt? I've got up to 4. What do you guys think? I see a 2. All right, so we're gonna go with 2. Oh, we're all over the place now. Let's do this first one with 2 so that you guys can see what a difference it makes. Like this one here that I have on, if you can see my shirt, you probably see at least I've got green, I've got pink, I've got blue. I think I have some purple, but that just might be from some dyeing. So it looks like I have about 3 colors that really started on here, maybe 4. So let's choose some colors. Okay, so we've got 4 options here. What do you guys think? If we go with 2, which 2 colors do we want to use? I've got a blue. All right, blue and yellow. All right, let's do this. Let's go blue and yellow. We'll see how it looks and see if we want to keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my shirt. And I have this bucket here because I want to, if I was outside, I would just do it in the grass. But I'm going to dampen my shirt a little bit and squeeze it out into the bucket. It doesn't have to be a lot of water. squeezing it. It's a little damp, not too much. Okay, so now I've got my shirt ready to go. Anybody know a really important thing that you want to use when you're tie-dyeing with your shirts? Something to keep it together, help us with the designs. I have some here. Some of you might have some ready to go. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Any guesses, guys?
Yes, very good.
Yes, good job.
And I have lots here. You don't usually need very many. Usually like 2 or 3 will work. But so I've got some rubber bands. So now what I'm gonna do, now you guys tell me, do we wanna do, let's choose spiral or scrunch? Is spiral or scrunch? Spiral is circle and scrunch. All right, so I see 2 scrunches. So we're gonna go scrunch for this one. We'll do spiral for the next one. So to scrunch, and I'm gonna just go ahead and point you guys down a little bit here. It's really simple, okay? Now we got lots. We'll go with scrunch for the first one. For scrunch, all you do is scrunch. Okay, so I've got this scrunched up shirt here. You want to scrunch it up as much as you can. Now, the cool thing is that with scrunch, you don't really have to rubber band, but it will just kind of help keep things together. So it's optional. So I'm just going to take 2 rubber bands just to kind of keep this together. My gloves are getting in the way a little bit. And you could always put your gloves on after you do this too if you wanted. It's just water here. I've got my scrunch. Here, if you're doing this inside, okay, this is kind of like a little hack, I guess. This is a cooling rack, right, for cookies. And this is just a little baking pan. You can use anything that, or like a cookie holder, a little Tupperware. This is gonna help make sure that everything stays here and does not land on my table and on my floor. Okay, so this cookie sheet here is just also gonna make sure that it doesn't sit on the shirt. Whatever liquid that I use that goes through is just going to drip into my pan and kind of keep this from being too saturated. Okay, so if you have that at home, that's something that you could use if you're doing this inside. You could also bring the cookie sheet outside. Sometimes I'll put this in the bathtub if I'm dyeing in the bathtub, and then it just kind of helps the water and everything extra flow away. So we said blue and yellow. So I'm just going to shake up my blue. You'll see a lot of times you get stuck with some powder at the bottom. Just shake it up, make sure it's gone. And you do want to make sure you really soak these up. So what I like to do sometimes, I don't have this all the way full, I'm going to fill it up a little bit more. If I notice I'm getting down to the end of my dye, let's say my bottle is looking empty, but it's still looking really dark, I'll sometimes add some more water. It's going to lighten your color up a little bit, but it's going to make your color last a little bit longer too. So just kind of a little tip. If you notice you're running out and you're like, oh wait, I'm almost out, but I still need more of that blue. You can add a little bit more water. It's not going to hurt anything, as long as it's still dark. Okay, so look here. This is why we wear our gloves. I would be covered right now. Everyone can see okay? Yeah? And all I'm going to do is kind of let this soak up. What I think I'm going to do is I have a rubber band here and a rubber band here. Since we're doing 2 colors, I'm going to do the blue on the outside, and then I'll do yellow in the middle of the rubber bands. All right, now I'm going to grab my yellow. We are going to flip these in a sec. I'm going to place my top here. You have little guys in the background, so if you're wondering what those silly noises are, that's what you're hearing. I'm going to grab my yellow.
So somebody was just asking if the shirt was wet or dry. It's wet, right? You put it in and you got
very
it
slightly damp. Very slightly damp. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I have done them dry before too. I do find that if they're a little bit damp, it helps with doing scrunching it or spiraling it. It's going to help it stay a little bit better. Let me go ahead and put my yellow in the middle. Be sure not to spray too hard or you get on your table like I just did. But that's okay because it's not going to show on this anyway. This is also not a very special little, this is actually like a couch sort of, I guess they call them like TV dinner trays, but nothing that holds much value. So I'm not worried if it gets a little ruined. If you see some spaces, you want to try to get into those spaces, try to get rid of as much white as you can. Now, if you look closely, I can show you guys. Before I do, let's see if anybody knows. Where my rubber bands are and the both colors meet, what color do you think I'm seeing? We've got blue and we've got yellow. What color do you think I'm seeing here in the middle? Where my color? Yeah, good job. Because blue and yellow makes green, right? Can you guys see that? You can probably see green inside the tray where the colors are mixing up.
Yeah,
so you're going to see that too. So it's something important to keep in mind. If you don't like the color purple, what two colors do you want to keep away from each other? If you don't like the color purple, what two colors would you want to keep away from each other? Very good, red and blue. Right? If I don't want purple on my shirt, I don't want my red and blue to mix because then I'm going to end up with some purple. So if you have red and you have blue, you want to keep them separate. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and flip. You see the backs are, it seeps through quite a bit, but not all of it is colored. So I'm just going to make sure that my blue is good. And my yellow looks good. So it's pretty saturated. So I am good with that. Now what I'm going to do is grab a plastic bag. Most kits do come with plastic bags of some sort. If not, I'm going to grab here a grocery bag. If you collect Target and Walmart and grocery store bags like I do, you always have grocery bags on hand. We've got a couple here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plop this inside my bag. I'm going to make sure you put that glove back on. Now, typically, you want to let this sit for a few hours. We're just going to let it sit, and we'll see how things go when our time is up to kind of show you guys what that's going to look like. So remember, that was a scrunch method, but we did 2 different colors and then the side. So you're going to, of course, see where those colors are, and it's going to be scrunched. So now let's go ahead and take another shirt. I'm going to grab this onesie. Anybody have any little babies at home? Little brothers and sisters? We've got lots of spare onesies in this house. These are great for making gifts too, right? Tie-dye shirts are fun gifts. Just kind of washing my gloves a little bit. I am going to go ahead and dampen this. No babies at home? All right, guys, so here we go. I've got my onesie damp. Now, we did the scrunch. So another option is the spiral, which you see a lot, right? This shirt that I have on here is kind of spiral. You see that circle. You can also kind of just do like these lines. If you fold, and you'll end up with like stripes this way. You can do the same this way. Anyone have a preference of what we do? I'm getting some dye here from my gloves on here. Anyone want to see if you want to do a spiral? I know some of us have did spiral before. What do you guys think? Pick this up here so you can see me. Do a spiral? All right, so let's go ahead and do a spiral. So when you're doing a spiral, this grate here, this cookie sheet is making it a little hard to move around. But you're probably best on a flat surface. You also want to make sure you rinse this if you're doing things back to back. Because if I didn't want blue on here, I'd be in trouble because I've got lots of blue and yellow on here from my other ones. But that's okay. So you're going to start at the middle of your shirt. Or if you want to just do something different, you can, wherever you want your spiral to start, that's where you're sort of going to pinch. You can also do multiple spirals on your shirt. Let's say you want to have a spiral here and a spiral here. You're going to do the same thing in different spots. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Move this a little bit closer to you guys here. And I'm just going to do a spiral in the middle. So I'm going to pinch here in the middle of my shirt, and I'm going to twist it. And the rest of my shirt's gonna twist. And I'm gonna twist until my entire shirt is twisted. You'll see you'll get some bunchy spots. Just kind of try to make it as even as you can. Okay, so at the end, if you're doing just one spiral, you'll have something that looks kind of like this. And then I'm gonna get my rubber bands. Now here, you can kind of decide with the amount of colors that you're gonna use, how many rubber bands you wanna have. So if I were to just put one rubber band, you just kind of do like a half and half. If I wanted to do 2 colors, I'm gonna go ahead and do 2, and I'm gonna crisscross these. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. All right, so now how many sections do I have in my spiral? You have 4, very good. So I could do 2 colors. I could do crisscross, 2 the same here and 2 the same here, but I'm gonna do 4 different colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use all 4 colors here. I have the yellow, the blue, the orange, and the red. We'll just go ahead and use these guys that are shooken up already. So I'm just gonna choose a spot. Now you do wanna make sure, so right now I'm gonna do blue right here on this side. When I flip, it's gonna make most sense to do blue in the same spot again. You wanna try to keep it as close to just this section inside the bands. Get it into all of those little crevices as much as you can. If you want, if you feel like you might forget, you could just go ahead and do the other side here. Just what we'll do. So my blue is done. And if you want to kind of see here, so this lasted, there's a little bit left here. I could at this point, again, like I said, add some more water. And then I'll just have maybe a little bit of a lighter blue for another shirt. I'll take the yellow. You'll see I have some green spots here from where my yellow and blue kind of collided, and that's okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take orange. Again, remember you want to keep in mind and ensure that you know what colors mix to make what colors. If there's a color that you don't want on your shirt or something, like sometimes some colors together might just kind of make all of your shirt brown if you end up in certain spots. You want to make sure that you are good with the colors that are combining. And there are some really cool sort of images and graphics that you can Google too for creating different colors. One neat thing too about the tie-dye kits that I told you guys about is that they have, I'm kind of just using one orange, one yellow, one blue, and one red with this. But they have a lot of different shades. Like some of these come with 32 colors, right? So we're used to red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, right? Like the rainbow. But you're gonna have like 3 or 4 different shades of pink and 3 or 4 different shades of red and blues and greens. So maybe you really like the color blue, you can just use all different blues, and that would look really cool too, kind of to create like an ombre effect. Just kind of a little something to share with you. All right, what do you guys think? Look okay? Sorry about that. I can't turn it off because my hand is gloved. There you go. Accidentally answered it and hung up on them, but I don't know who that was. All right, so here we have this one. I'm gonna go ahead and place this in the bag. How are we doing so far? Everyone doing okay? Now, this next one, I want to share this SEI guide with you. This one is different. Sorry, guys. Let me... Show who that is. All right. So I am going to actually swap out my cookie sheet here with a box. Take my gloves off for a second. Remember, when you're taking your gloves off, you want to make sure your inside comes out. Just start with a new pair. This SEI dye is the one that comes already mixed. Now for this one, you don't dampen your shirt. Okay, so for this one, you don't dampen your shirt. So I'm just gonna start with my fresh shirt here. Anything specific we wanna see. Now I'm no tie-dye pro, so I can't do all the real crazy fun designs, but anything that we want to see. So swirl like another spiral. Maybe we'll do some, like several spirals. Hey, buddy.
And that.
Just making a tie-dye shirt.
A tie-dye?
That's tie-dye shirt, yeah.
A tie-dye?
Mm-hmm. Can you go sit with Liam for mommy?
A tie-dye.
We'll do it after, okay? Do you want to say hi real quick?
Yeah.
Here, come stand right here. Say hi.
Hey.
All right, go sit with Liam, okay?
Hey.
All right, so we're gonna start fresh here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am just spiraling a couple different spots. So I'm gonna spiral here. Make sure we go the right way. And I'm gonna grab a rubber band. You know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll spiral different spots, kind of keep them together. If you guys can't see, let me know. Bring this down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just spiraling spots, pushing them together. Spiral. Push it together. Okay. Now I'm gonna get those rubber bands. I want to keep those together as good, as best as I can. There's one. And I'm gonna do one more. Some of this is coming undone. So with this dye, the same thing goes that you can, you'll spray your sections. Okay, so I've got several sections here. Can anyone tell how many sections I have? It's kind of mishmash. There's a lot going on.
And so you're doing another spiral, right?
Yes, but it was kind of like 4 spirals. So
Gotcha.
I took the different corners and spiraled them and brought them together.
So some people said 6, 4, 5. I know it's a little hard to tell.
It's a little hard to see. It is 6. There's 3 rubber bands, so they're all kind of crisscrossing and cutting each other in half. But when you have so much going on, it is kind of, some of them are small, some are big, so it's a little hard to see. But so with this dye, let me go ahead and get new gloves on. I mean, all of these kits come with like 20 gloves. You've got gloves to last you through your kit. And so again, this one is SEI. It's called SEI Tumble Dye. Instructions are pretty simple. They have them on the back for you. So we start with this one dry. You spray them and then don't get it nearly as wet as the dyes that you just used. So what you do is spray. Go ahead and pick some colors. Let's see, I'll let you guys, whoop. We'll use all of them because there aren't a ton here. Okay. So you can kind of hear, this is how they come. I did not do anything to mix this. They come completely filled, ready to use. They are permanent. So it just says on the back, shake well, protect your area, create your design, spray, air dry completely. Okay, so what we do with these guys, the other ones, we don't really let them dry. They're in the bags. We typically keep them in for a few hours just so that all of the dye kind of absorbs. And then we'll talk about what we're gonna do with that next. But these ones, you let air dry. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna spray some sections. Can everyone see okay? Literally just sprays on like spray paint. It's a little bit harder to keep it inside the area, as you can see, because it's spray. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do both sides too right now, because it's a little bit harder to get back to. You want to be careful. Now I've got some dye on my board, so I'm going to try not to get the other colors, the shirt to not hit all over on that, or else you'll be mixing, unless you're okay with that. This one has been used a little bit. So this is, again, this set comes with 6 or 7 colors. The other ones come with like 36. So this just has a few colors. You use them until they're gone. I have to double up some of my colors to make sure I have enough. I'm just hitting both sides here, covering up as much as I can. Because this is not very liquidy like the other ones, you'll see if you look close, you can see the white spots where the shirt is folded. The other one seeps through, so you get like a full colored shirt in the end, even like some spots that might just be lightly colored. This has a lot of white left in the end, and you'll see, I'll show you guys what that looks like. This is my first time using the screen here. Not sure how I feel about it. And it's a lot harder to get all of the white. So you just get as much as you can. And I'm going to use, I'm just going to do a big purple section and keep the purple together. And do purple again. Okay. So I've got it mostly covered as much as I likely can with the spray. So again, you want to be careful with your glove hitting spots. I've got a big purple mark where my green is. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to wipe this glove off a little bit to just clean it up a little. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove my rubber band. So remember, we didn't wet this. If you look at it, like it's not dripping, it's not sopping, it's just like the spray paint almost that is on it. So it's not very wet. Sometimes cutting the rubber bands is a little bit easier to not cross those colors over, but I'm just going to go ahead and take those off. And so with this, a little bit. This is what you get. So if you look, you can kind of see we did a spiral up here on the top where the yellow is. We have a spiral on the bottom right, a little bit up here. If you look on the back, some of the colors landed more on the back in certain areas and some on the front. So for this, all you do now is let this air dry because it is a little wet, and then you get an iron and your parent helps you just to heat set this one. I've also seen some people in some videos put them in the microwave to heat them that way, but you do need to heat set this to make sure that the color stays. Sorry about the noise, they're starting to wrestle in there, I think. But so this one, you see there's a lot of whites, right? There's not a whole ton of color happening. Okay, so if that's sort of the style that you like, you can look at that. So what would it look like if you sprayed right on the shirt without spiraling it? Well, Sarah, let's see. I'm willing to test it out for you. So I'm going to go ahead. What I'll do is I'll take the color that kind of matches where that area is. So we'll take like the turquoise color and spray over here. Everyone can see okay? I'm just going to sort of spray, and you end up with spray paint. Now you can, of course, do this if you like. Okay, you can absolutely just spray the shirt. Another option would be if you have stencils. If you have stencils, you can place those on your shirt and then you can spray. So I don't think I have anything here, Luca. But you could put, you know, a shape, letter, and then you could sort of spray paint those words. Yes, it's very easy. And like I said, it does come like this. This one is, I see a dollar sign there. I'm not sure what that is for. Sounds like your house, crazy house. I think these ones are a little bit more expensive, but again, they are ready to go. It's totally different type of tie-dye. Are you okay? I heard you screaming.
Oh.
But so again, you can spray that wherever you go. You just want to make sure that you heat set it, and then you are good. Yes, my son's name is Luca. I have a Luca and a Liam. Liam, do you want to say hi? You standing here?
Hi.
This is Liam. All right. So that's what this ultimately looks like. If you do like the spiral, any design that you do on here, it's going to end up where there's a lot of white. That's kind of just what I wanted you guys to see with that. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take one of the other ones that we did. I'm going to put this aside. And let's go ahead. We'll take the yellow and the blue that we started with. All right. Scooch it, mister. So I'm going to take this out of the bag. It's a little early, but that's okay. What I'll end up doing is just kind of leaving it so that it sits a little bit longer. You typically will rinse it as soon as you're done. Hey, guys, I need you to go over on the couch for me, okay? Not happening, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take my rubber bands off. Remember, we soaked these through. All right, so we'll see kind of how this lands. So now we've got almost no white on this. And so what I'll do, once this sits a little bit longer, yes, we love the movie called Luca. We watch Luca all day long. So what I'll do is I'll leave this, and then I'll rinse it really, really good until no color comes out. But I'm going to wait a few hours, and then you can wash it as normal. But you just want to make sure that it sits as long as you want it, if you want to make sure the color stays pretty strong. And this color is pretty bright. So what do we think of this one? You like this one? Not sure? Pretty? All right, so now we'll go ahead to the other one. I'm just going to put this in the bag here. Yes.
What do you do?
Just making some shirts and showing some students from school. Oh. All right, so now we have the onesie. So again, you want to, typically you would let them sit for a while before you rinse them out. Otherwise, it will, if I were to rinse this now, they would just be really, really light colors in the end, because a lot of it would be coming out. And then this one we did spiral. So if you look, you can kind of see that spiral starting in the middle. Right, and again, because we are pulling them out so early, it's still really wet. So the colors are, there's a lot of movement with the colors. It kind of gives you an idea of how that works. What do you think of this one? 0.0, we don't like this one? Is that what that means? So again, you could also, like if you have something with sleeves, you can do the sleeves on their own. You can scrunch them. You can do different things. You can kind of do like that stripe thing that I told you. You kind of fold it like an accordion. So lots of different options. All right, guys. So that's really, I think, the most of it. So what I want to do, because I know that sometimes it's hard to get things, and some of us might want to do this but not have the opportunity, or maybe we want to do it but we want to do more, is I want, it looks like a lobster.
What are you doing?
I'll get the colors. You got some water and some lobster color. Are you going to make your son wear that? Well, my son won't fit in this. My daughter will fit in this, but she's sleeping. So you guys haven't seen her. My daughter just turned 1. So she would fit in this. But so I want to sort of gift little mini, I'm going to make little mini tie-dye kits. But in order to win one, we want to see your work. So if you use either something like what I have here today, or if you make, I know that there is somewhere, if you have a parent help you, are ways to make them with like food coloring and that Rit Dye that I talked about. So there's lots of different ways to create something tie-dye-ish. So with your, Miss Val will correct me if I'm wrong here, but with your passports and however you submit your stuff, I want you guys to submit something that you tie-dye at home based on what you learned today, And then I am going to, yes, you can send your photo to info@pibcsk12.org. And then I'm going to choose 2 random students to send little mini tie-dye kits to. Okay? So you want to make sure you send your picture. Send your picture. And then we'll choose 2 random students, and then I'll get the information that I need to send it to your house. Okay? So awesome job. I hope you guys had fun and learned a little bit today. Thanks for joining me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jessica. Did anybody have any other questions or pretty straightforward stuff?
Any questions?
We'll meet again. Nope. All right. Well, yes, definitely, guys. Be sure to send in your photos. Again, it's the same email that you'd send your passport to. The info@pabcsk12.org. I put it into the chat. It's also on the website if you need to refer to it. So thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much, Jessica. Say hi to all your kids for us. We liked their little cameos. All right, and have a good rest of your day. And thanks again, everybody. Take care.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.